Let's say China.
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 There are next door neighbors, and you can actually see Russia from land here in Alaska.
You go over to China.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Trump statement, tweeting out insult to Angela Merkel. What's he doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host.
Hello. I am James Andrews, and you are listening to So This Happened. It is Thursday, the 4th of May, 2017, a day that will go down in history as the day that Obamacare was murdered. And you may be asking, why do I sound so jovial if that's the case? Well, you fake it till you make it. I've got a smile plastered on my face, and it's actually not all bad news, because let's be honest, even though today the Congress voted to repeal and replace Obamacare, that bill is dead on arrival when it gets to the Senate. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But first, this morning, Prince Philip gave us all a bit of a fright, didn't he? I was up at midnight talking to my family, trying to find out what was going on. There was all this buzz on Twitter about all these people had been recalled to Buckingham Palace from Balmoral in Scotland, from all the other royal houses, and there was a possibility that Prince Philip had died. That was the rumour. And then the next rumour was maybe the Queen had died. Well, as it turned out, many long and very dragged out hours later, the palace confirmed that Prince Philip is alive and well, but he is stepping down from all public and civil duties. And I just want to say, Philip, thank you for many years of service to the British people. And we had this really packed show that we were going to do for you today, but this vote on the healthcare bill today has really overshadowed everything we're going to talk about. I do just want to mention very quickly an executive order that was signed today by President Trump. And this is simply called the Religious Freedom Act, which sounds fairly innocuous, really, doesn't it? And sort of, yeah, great, religious freedom, that's fantastic. But when you dive down into actually what the bill is, it gets a little bit more insidious than it may sound at first. So essentially what the executive order does is it creates legal exemptions for religious institutions to certain anti-discrimination laws. So it also allows these religious organizations to now support a candidate and not be penalized on their non-profit status. But when you start digging down into this order that's been signed on today, the National Day of Prayer of all things, which, let's be honest, that is only the National Day of Prayer if you believe in the Christian God. I didn't see any Muslim clerics or Jewish clerics at the White House during the prayer breakfast this morning. But this is kind of the brainchild of our friend Daddy Pence, that man who, well, looks like he's from the 1950s, but he talks, acts and thinks like he's from the 1650s. He would be very happy in Salem during the witch trials, if you know what I mean. So I just want to read a little bit from the executive order, and bear with me because it might be a little bit boring, but I think it's quite important, and you'll see where I'm going on this. What it does is it will protect this tax exemption status of any organization that, and here's the quote, believes, speaks, or acts, or declines to act in accordance with the belief that marriage is or should be recognized as the union of one man and one woman. So right there, you can probably see the problem in this. Any organization can now refuse services to anybody who they say is acting in a way that is against their religion and still keep their non-profit status. This really opens a door to a lot of bigotry and a lot of hate. And then it goes even further by saying that male and female and their equivalents refer to an individual's immutable biological sex as objectively determined by anatomy, physiology, or genetics at the time or before birth. And it doesn't take a genius to see where that one is going. In a time when we are finally getting some gender rights for people who are transgender, homosexual, bisexual, questioning, this one order brings all of that into question and makes it so that if somebody feels that their religion is telling them that it is wrong, they can deny services and discriminate, because that's what this is. They will be able to discriminate against people on a religious basis. And that's fucked up. And I really wish I had a fun, light story to cheer everybody up and sort of brighten the mood. But I don't. We're now going to move on to the repeal and replacement of Obamacare, which moments ago, well, about an hour ago now, went to a vote in the Congress and it was passed. So as of right now, Obamacare is no more. And it's going to be replaced with what Democrats are already calling Trump Care. And I refuse to call it that because I don't want to give Donald Trump any more credit than he deserves. So this is a bill that was passed in Congress today, and realistically, when this goes to the Senate next week or whenever it goes to the Senate, this bill is 100% dead on arrival. It will never get passed in the state it is currently in. That begs the question, why the hell did all these Republican congressmen fight so hard to push this bill through so quickly? Most of them have not even had a chance to read it thoroughly. I'll tell you my opinion on this, why I think they had to just rush this out there. They promised their supporters that Obamacare would be repealed and replaced. And during the run-up to the election, a number of news outlets interviewed people who were Trump supporters and said, you know, what do you think of Obamacare? Well, I hate Obamacare. I hate it. Okay, what about the ACA? Oh yeah, that's what I'm on. I'm on the ACA. Yeah, that's great. Well, you do realize that the ACA is Obamacare, correct? And they didn't. And this, you can go back and look at this. This actually did happen. People had no idea that when they were on the Affordable Care Act, that was what had been dubbed Obamacare. The Republicans were very, very clever to name it Obamacare because so many people disliked Barack Obama through some, let's be honest, it was probably racist, wasn't it? They didn't want anything called Obamacare. They were fine with the ACA because that's innocuous, it doesn't have any meaning. But Obamacare, oh no, I don't want to have anything to do with him. The Republicans were very smart in saying Obamacare, 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 bad, bad, bad. People bought it. And now, people don't have it anymore. So what I've done is to lighten this a little bit, I've made up a little song. And this is called the Name Them and Shame Them song. Let me know what you think.
You don't listen to what the people want, you're all cowards. Fuck you, G-O-D.
Rep.
You don't listen
Robert
to what the
Holt,
people want, you're all
Republican AL
cowards.
Rep.
Fuck you, G-O-D.
Bill Archer, Republican TX Rep.
You don't
Richard
listen to
Army,
what the
Republican
people want,
TX
you're all
Rep.
cowards. Fuck
Spencer
you, G-O-D.
Baptist, Republican AL Rep.
You don't listen
Richard
to what
Baker,
the people
Republican
want, you're all
L Rep.
cowards. Fuck you,
Cass
G-O-D.
Ballinger, Republican NC Rep.
You don't listen
Bob
to
Barr,
what the people
Republican
want, you're all
GA Rep.
cowards. Fuck
Bill
you,
Barrett,
G-O-D.
Republican NE Rep. Roscoe
You don't
Bartlett,
listen to what the
Republican
people
MD
want, you're
Rep.
all cowards.
Joe
Fuck you,
Barty,
G-O-D.
Republican TX Rep. Charles
You don't
Bass,
listen to what
Republican
the people
NH
want,
Rep.
you're all
Herbert
cowards. Fuck you,
Bateman,
G-O-D.
Republican VA Rep. Doug
You don't
Beruta,
listen to what
Republican
the
NE Rep.
people want, you're all
Brian Bill
cowards.
Bray,
Fuck you,
Republican
G-O-D.
CA Rep. Michael Blearakis, Republican FL Rep. Thomas Bliley, Republican VA Rep. Roy Blunt, Republican M Rep. Sherwood Boland, Republican NY Rep. John Boner, Republican OH Rep. Henny Vanilla, Republican TX Rep. Mary Bono, Republican CA Rep. Kevin Brady, Republican TX Rep. Ed Bryant, Republican TN Rep. Jim Bowen, Republican KY Rep.
And there you go.
Richard Burr,
The
Republican
Name
NC
Them
Rep.
and Shame Them
Cam
song.
Burton, Republican
And you know what? Let's just keep the list of Republican congressmen and senators just rolling slowly. Yeah, like that. Perfect. We're going to keep them there for the rest of the episode. What I want to do right now is look at 5 aspects of this new healthcare plan which will affect people. And first is the essential health benefits. They could disappear. Now, under Obamacare, there were 10 essential health benefits that health plans had to offer, and they included maternity care, mental health care. These were all excluded from pre-Obamacare policies for the most part. The new American Healthcare Act states that individual states can decide whether or not to offer these. So now, instead of the federal government saying, you have to have this because everybody, these are important things for people, now individual states are going to be in charge of saying, yes, you can have that, no, you can't have that. And in those states that say, maternity care is not included, there will be the option to buy it, but it will be at such a high cost because it's not included in the base plan that it's going to become unaffordable for many consumers. And this little caveat doesn't just apply to those who will be on the new Healthcare Act. It also applies to people who get their insurance through their employers. Because now their employers will have the opportunity to look at what their state requires, and if their state is not requiring that, they can remove it from their employees' health benefits. The second part of the plan I want to look at is Medicaid. The new healthcare plan would significantly cut Medicaid. It's estimated that over 10 years, $840 billion would be cut from Medicaid, and that would lead to benefit cuts for about 74 million Americans who rely on that program. And these are lower income beneficiaries, disabled people, elderly people. What these cuts do is they give a massive tax break to the very wealthy people. And Nancy Pelosi said this afternoon, that this isn't a healthcare plan, this is a tax cut for the wealthy. And it really does look that way. The third aspect I want to look at is the one that most people are worried about. Millions of people. On Twitter today, all that was in the feed was people concerned about pre-existing conditions and will that disappear from this new Healthcare Act. The answer on that is yes and no. The new healthcare plan does not explicitly cut insurance for people with pre-existing conditions, but what it does allow is it allows insurers to charge more, higher premiums that is, for people who do have pre-existing conditions. And of course, the Republicans had an answer for that. They said, well look, we're going to give you $138 billion over 10 years to help out and subsidize those people whose premiums may rise because of pre-existing conditions. Well, experts said, not even close to enough. So the very generous GOP said, okay, well here's another $8 billion right before it went to the vote this morning, and it's still not nearly enough to cover the premium hike that people with pre-existing conditions will face. The fourth aspect of the plan I want to look at is tax credits. Under this new bill, tax credits would significantly decrease for anybody on this new healthcare plan. In fact, it's been estimated that right now a consumer may pay just $1,700 out of pocket for premiums under Obamacare. Under this new plan, they could potentially pay as much as $14,600 for the exact same plan. And finally, the fifth aspect of the AHCA that I want to look at is the one that fucks me off more than any of the others. And this is the hit that women's health access is going to take under Trump's plan. Now, the AHCA does not explicitly defund Planned Parenthood. However, it does allow states to deny reimbursements from Medicaid and Title X, which is a federal program for family planning that we have talked about before. Now, this could lead to as many as 650,000 women losing access to preventative care. And this is where it gets really fucked up. The waivers for pre-existing conditions and essential health benefits would affect women more than men. Things like maternity, newborn care, gone. Birth control coverage, gone. And then other services which are considered preventative care that would change, because now if the essential health benefits are gone, these are also gone, and that includes breast pumps, domestic violence screening, counselling, mammograms, screenings for cervical cancer, STI counselling, and well women visits. And then this is the part that makes me want to punch every Republican in the throat. Sexual assault, domestic violence, pregnancy, C-section, postpartum depression, and eating disorders will now all be considered pre-existing conditions. Fuck you, GOP. Fuck you. And I'm afraid we're out of time. Trump Vader did want to read a tweet, but that little fucker is celebrating his win right now, so I didn't want him in the studio. I said, nope, absolutely not. You cannot come in here. So he probably will be back tomorrow, but for right now, he is banned from the So This Happened studio. Thanks for listening, everyone. You follow me on Twitter at So This Happened. If you like what we're doing here, subscribe on whatever you're listening to, iTunes, Google Play. And before I go, and I know we're running a little late, but it's not too late to do things, okay? This has got to go to the Senate now, where most of these things, hopefully, will be removed. You can help. Contact your senator. Look them up if you don't know who they are. Go to Google, type in who is my senator and your zip code. You'll find out who they are. Bombard them with phone calls, bombard them with emails, whatever you have to do. No violence, okay? Because remember, we're PC. We're all very, very PC. Not PC as in politically correct, but PC. Like peace, brother. Whatever. I made up the word. Fuck it. I don't care. But call them. Write to them. If you get to see them on the street, talk to them. Say, look, this is how it will affect me. This is how it will affect you, because I won't fucking vote for you next time. Because remember, these people, these politicians, what they really care about is getting re-elected. That is priority number one for them. And if we can show them that if they pass any of these things, they will not get re-elected, then I can guarantee you they will not vote for them. So get out there, talk to your senators, talk to your congressmen, tell them they're twats, talk to your senators, say don't do this, and have a great day, and I will chat with you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
You don't listen to what the people want, you're all cowards. Fuck you, GOP. You don't listen to what the people want, you're all cowards. Fuck you, GOP. You don't listen to what the people want, you're all cowards. Fuck you, GOP. You don't listen to what the people want, you're all cowards. Fuck you, GOP.